Let's begin with Mark Zachary. He's making some news. He's got a top 4. How are the Irish faring with Mark Zachary?
Well, as you'd imagine, Darren, if we're going to spend some time talking about it, Notre Dame did make the top 4, along with Cincinnati, Michigan, and Florida. Now, back in August, I logged a prediction for Notre Dame to land him after some sources urged me, like, hey, if you want to put in a bold pick that'll work out down the road, we think this one's going to come together for the Irish. I did it, and I feel pretty good about it right now. At the time in August, Darren, it seemed like it was kind of 50-50 between Notre Dame and Ohio State. Like, you really grew up loving the Buckeyes. But I think Ohio State's faded in the recruitment for, one reason or another. And now I feel pretty good that the Irish are the team to beat for him. Again, Notre Dame, Michigan, Florida, and Cincinnati. He's got visits set up to each school, Darren. He's got officials with Cincinnati the first weekend of June, and then Notre Dame, Michigan, and Florida. So 4 weekends in a row taking official visits. And then he's also told Blue and Gold that he's got unofficials lined up. So unofficial versus official. The unofficial, you pay your own dime. Official, it's on the school's dime. And so he's got Notre Dame March 22nd, the 23rd, so a couple days there. Michigan, April 20th. And then he's also got Cincinnati, I believe. It's lined up in the first week of April. So, so he's got visits lined up. So you can't feel that it's like 100% lock that he's going to end up at Notre Dame. But, I wrote a little bit more about this at the Gold Standard, an article I do each Monday at Blue and Gold. A little bit more inside information there, but I just am liking where the Irish are at, whether he takes those visits or not, Darren. Top 100 player overall from Indy, Ben Davis. So the top player from the Hoosier State, according to the On3 industry ranking. This would be a big get for Notre Dame. Mike Mickens, Marcus Freeman. I mean, across the board, this has been a really good job by the coaching staff. This would be a big get for Notre Dame.
I think something that's fun about Notre Dame football recruiting right now, when you think about one example, USC, you think about kids going there for offense, not necessarily defense. But Mike, right now, Notre Dame football is a very balanced football team. For all the reasons, there's kids wanting to play for Mike Denbrock on offense. I mean, look at Al Golden on defense. This isn't just an offense or a defensive school. This is a very balanced football program.
Darren, let's set the timer back 5 years. So, in May 2019 is my first month starting at Blue and Gold. I had never covered Notre Dame before. And think back then, what were the positions that Notre Dame just struggled to bring in top talent at? I think you go to receiver, defensive line. Yeah, running back, defensive line, corner. I think those are the positions. Corner has been revolutionized at Notre Dame. Receiver, that they're bringing in some really good talent. Running back, since Lance Taylor, go back to, the Chris Tyree, then the Audric Estime, Logan Diggs, Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love. Running back has been very good. And defensive line, I think Notre Dame fans want to see more improvement there. But still, they are taking a step forward on the defensive line as well. So it's raised the ceiling of what Notre Dame can be, at some of these positions. So, and cornerback is definitely one that has been, Ben Morrison, look at what Cam Hart did at the combine. Much credit to Mike Mickens. We got to remember, Mickens got here in 2020. He got here before Marcus Freeman. He's really turned around that position.
And let me just throw in quarterback recruiting's come a long way. In fact, my hairline has stopped receding since.
Quarterback. That my mistake for forgetting that position.
You had a lot to choose from.
And I that quarterback position, you got to feel as good about that as you had in a long time. I mean, the presumed number 3 guy in Kenny Minchie. He got my co-host for my Mike Goolsby show, of course. Goolsby. He's tweeting out today, why not Kenny? He loves Kenny Minchie. That's your number 3 guy. And then I think a lot of Notre Dame fans really want to see CJ Carr as a true freshman. And you guys know I love Steve Angeli, got Riley Leonard, and then down the pipe, Deuce Knight committed in 25, and the Irish we talked about last week looking good in 2026 quarterback recruiting, Darren. credit to the Notre Dame staff, Tommy Reese the past few years, and of course Marcus Freeman, Chad Bowden, that Gino Godulis hit the ground running as well.
All right, Mike, let's move along to Jirhi Joseph. He has set up an official visit. Tell us about Jirhi.
Another cornerback recruit. So the past few months, Darren, we've been talking about Dallas Golden. He's a corner from Florida, and Mark Zachary. Those have been like the two that we have really been discussing the most as these top Notre Dame targets. Jirhi Joseph from St. Joseph Regional in Montville, New Jersey, the same high school that produced Audric Estime, by the way.
Wow.
He's been someone we haven't talked about a lot for a couple of reasons. One, he just doesn't really do media interviews. And two, he hasn't visited Notre Dame. So we haven't really, my sources have been mentioning Joseph. The Irish offered him last May, but, all I know is that, he's a top target for Notre Dame, but that's really all I've been able to gather. But he tweeted on Monday that he's going to officially visit Notre Dame the weekend of June 7th. So that's big. And the weekend before that, he's going to Stanford, Darren. So when you've got Stanford and Notre Dame visit lined up, that tells me a lot about you. I don't need to interview you to know, a whole lot more because, academics is clearly a big deal to you. And you're willing, if you're from New Jersey and those are two of your official visits, you're willing to get out and travel as well. So distance might not be a big factor. So my sources feel like Notre Dame's got a really good shot here. He's a 4-star cornerback, 6 foot, 170 pounds, 4-star prospect, number 167 overall in the On3 industry ranking, number 23 cornerback in the country. So throw Joseph up there with Dallas Gold, Mark Zachary, who are both top 100 recruits. And here's Joseph. And this is to go along with Creed Thomas from Phoenix Brophy Prep, the same high school that Notre Dame landed Ben Morrison from. Again, Darren, I'm loving cornerback recruiting right now for Notre Dame. It's in a really exciting position.